Okay, we're gonna call the Ascension Parish Utility meeting to order. Ask Councilman Shake Snyder to do the invocation, lead us into pledge, honor.
Dear Lord, we want to thank you for all the good things you've given us and the pleasure of living in Ascension Parish. Thanks to all the good, hard-working people that provide service for us here. We'd like to also lend your ear to our soldiers fighting abroad so that they may be safe, and a little special prayer to try to keep some of this rain away in the next few days so that we can settle down again back in our normal routine. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members present, Councilman Benny Johnson, Councilman Kent Shake Snyder, Councilman Dempsey Lambert, Councilman Dennis Collins is absent due to work. I'd like to recognize our parish president, Mr. Tommy Martinez, CEO, Mr. Cedric Grant, recording secretary, Ms. Christy Bennett. Anybody wishing to speak on anything on the agenda, they have 3 minutes. Sign in with the secretary. Agenda item number 4, update on the comprehensive wastewater. Parish President Martinez and CEO Mr. Cedric Grant.
Yes, sir. The wastewater treatment facility, East Bank. We will meet tomorrow morning with DEQ to finalize our application for our $18 million loan for the wastewater treatment plant. In addition to that, we are meeting tomorrow afternoon with LRA to finalize our approved community development plan that includes some $5 million as well for the sewer improvements program. So the money is coming into line, the plan is coming into focus, and what the schedule that we submitted to DEQ calls for is that we would be prepared to go to construction on the treatment plant next May.
Okay, I would like to invite the board, if you guys could attend to a meeting with Mr. Cedric Grant, and we'd like to send out a notice to someone for Integra to make sure that they attend the meeting for Thursday. Mr. Grant, your schedule permits that?
Next Thursday?
Next Thursday? You want, you got a time? A week from this Thursday?
We will set the time, yes, sir.
We'll set the time?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
What is that about?
Talk about the proposal that Integra has on the whole parish, looking at the wastewater system. Yes, sir.
The only thing I'd like to add is the $1 million that we had coming from the Corps has been reduced to a little over $400,000 at this point. So
we also need to meet with the Corps and sit down and talk about their participation. You know, I don't want them to use the money that we got up to. Well, we need to meet with the Corps. We need to set up a meeting with the Corps one day next week. Mr. Grant, I will be on nights. If you know you want me to attend, it'd have to be in the at least 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I have a standing meeting with the Corps every Tuesday. I'll send you a notice and see if we can adjust it a little bit Tuesday morning, just Tuesday morning.
Okay, would you mind sending it at athompson@etel.net?
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
One question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Councilman Lambert.
Mr. Grant, on the $18 million loan, this is the plant that's starting at the river, or how?
This will be
what is
the
this plan right here?
This is the plant that will be on the BASF property at Highway 30 with the effluent discharge to the river. That's what the 18 million with the 5 will pay for. So it will construct the plant and the discharge.
Councilman Lambert, if you could attend that meeting Thursday we would like to have you there.
Yeah.
We got to do it to Mr. Grant's schedule because I'm sure he got a calendar.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking for.
That's what the project is. Yes.
Okay, well, we're supposed to have a discussion on the utility rate, but I guess that should also come up in that meeting with Parish President Martinez.
I'd like to kind of get that discussion started. Basically, you know, we're going to have an audit exception. If we don't, we can, you know, right now we're having a hard time. I think Mr. Matassa can give us an update on where we are as far as collecting in Harryville. I think you got everything taken care of there. They're going to start in November.
They're going to start in November. They're going to start in November and charge for October.
But I think we need to really look at this, the rates that we're charging now, and I think, you know, we're going to have to do something about it. I don't know exactly how much we can maybe start off with a gradual increase, maybe $5 a month, and then possibly go up to 10. Set a scale where you continually go up until we can meet the total cost, because I don't think we can continue subsidizing at this point.
Councilman Scheckstein.
Question, Kenny, when we hadn't been collecting from those systems?
Well,
What's the
Dara
reason?
has been collected, but what happened with the Harryville system, Baton Rouge Water asked for an increase in what the charge was, so we had to go through that, and then every time we did what they asked for something else, and then you had the water district was involved. I had to go to their meeting and get them, because you got to have a mechanism to make people pay if they don't pay, so you got to have approval from the water district to cut the water off. So all of this stuff took all of this time, and we finally got it all together to do that. Now also I want to say that I've checked around on a commercial charge for that school, and I'd like to charge them like $150 a month, because they use more water than everybody in Harryville together. Now, there's other schools I saw that was paying around $200 a month on this other company's deal, but I think $150 would be very reasonable for them to pay.
We don't have meters on them?
No, sir. There's a water meter, but Baton Rouge Water doesn't collect for us that way. They do a flat rate collection. I did talk with them about other ways, and in fact, when you actually go to a parish wide cost, the best way to go is a flat rate of so much and then usage. Because that way a person living by themselves will only pay, you know, this little old lady on a fixed income, you know, but you have to take a lot in consideration. And what Baton Rouge Water does, they don't actually do totally like the city of Gonzales per gallon. They do an average, quarterly average, and then the next they'll charge, and then they do it like that. Now, I didn't really look exactly how they're doing it, but that's what they told me. They don't do it per gallon.
Right,
They do an average.
and that would be fine. That'd make a lot of sense.
Right.
That would be fine. But I do believe we need to do something with the usage
I
in
think
there.
that's the way to go, but we're just trying to get them collect, period, right now, and like we haven't collected a nickel on Harryville yet.
Well, yeah, whatever we need to do, because we're subsidizing the whole thing right now.
But I was wondering, with your permission, to contact the school board to let them know what we think is a fair rate on that school.
Councilman.
But
We need to, like I said, start the discussion. Maybe take it a little bit further and come up with a rate sheet, Mr. Matassa. Maybe you and your staff can do that, and let's see what we can do and include the school. and try to get with Ms. LeBlanc's office and try to see what we need to do. And once we get all the collection, a way to collect from everyone, we need to have that fee set in place.
Well, I was going to do a motion to that, but if you're going to do it administratively, that's fine, as long as it gets done.
Well, we can't set fees by
Yeah, I'm talking
administrative.
about-
It's got to be done by ordinance.
Give us a rate sheet and do the investigation and the information and negotiate with the school board and see what's reasonable and bring it to us, and then we can act on it. We'd like to do that as quickly as possible, though.
Well,
Mr. Christian, would you make sure that's on the agenda for the next Utilities Committee meeting?
also, Baton Rouge Water told me that when they start new customers, they do a flyer, and they suggested we do that. And I'm putting a flyer together, and I'm gonna have it delivered to each one of the houses, saying that we're starting. This is the fees starting at $30 a month. Here's doing our regular hours call number and an after hours emergency number. So anything else you want to put on there, let me know.
Councilman Johnson?
I do have a question. Kenny, you mentioned, or we were talking about user billing as far as the amount that they use. Does Baton Rouge Water give out that information? Do we know?
Well, yeah, they told me how much water the school was using. I mean,
Well,
but I tried to talk to Mr. Owens about how could we do it like that, and he said, this is the way Baton Rouge does it. They read them and they take a quarterly average, and then and I don't know why they do it like that, but
They read the meters once a month too, though, don't they?
that's correct.
So, I mean, I guess the question that I would have with them is if we wanted to do it on a monthly basis like what other folks do. I mean, we don't want to reinvent the wheel here. Plenty of people are doing this already. We just want to find out what's the best way for us to do it, whether it's monthly or quarterly, and go by that. And I guess the question is can we get the information either way?
Well, I'm not sure. I will check on that, but the reason they do this average thing, I'm sure, is to save them a lot of work.
Yeah.
City of Gonzales does it by the gallon.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they figure it quarterly, but they bill them by the month.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, they do bill every month, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
okay. Any other questions, Councilman?
Do we need anything now? A resolution, anything, or y'all gonna take care of it?
Go ahead and come back. I think Mr. Adrian had talked about what he wanted us to do, and at the next meeting, we'll bring out that rate sheet, and we'll get it done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Little new business. Anybody got anything? I got something. President, we're gonna look at the water side of this.
Well, we certainly want to look at it. Right now, we got our hands full looking at the suicide, but and DQ's going to be breathing up our necks. So, but certainly we've talked to the water district in Darrow. I don't know where we're at on that, Mr. Grant. We're moving along on that. So, if we can actually create that district there, utilities district in that area, that's, I think, that's the next step that we need to do. That's good.
Go ahead, I'm trying to remember.
I thought we was going to create a utilities district on the whole East Bank.
Whole East Bank.
What is the holdup? I mean, we've been talking about this for.
The holdup is one of the districts has not provided us with the documents on their debt, and we are very close to having that. My goal, Councilman, was to have that ordinance, which is already in draft form, once we had all of the documents and the approvals of the two districts that exist. The goal was to have it adopted by the end of the year. So we're a little bit behind, but quite honestly, it's just a gathering of documents and making sure what the debt is for those two outstanding districts before we propose to roll them.
Okay.
into
Well,
our
I mean,
district.
we just hadn't been hearing about it, so I didn't know.
I've been
whether it
working
was- Okay. That's fine.
The option of looking at the Ascension Livingston line and looking for a good aquifer. Is that out?
I don't think we got that far yet. I mean, we had a study back in 1999, and that's one of the options that they had. We know that there's good water and a good aquifer in Livingston Parish, and you know, but again, we only got limited resources on what we can do at one time, and we are working toward that goal. So if we can get the consolidated utilities district, which I mean, I'm sure we had one before for Ascension Parish. We had a Ascension Parish Consolidated Utilities District. If you go back and look, now since then there's been a lot of changes, and there was Baton Rouge Water has been granted a franchise here, so you know it's a little bit more to it than it was back then. And you had some other utility companies. Capital Utilities had a water company, Diversion Water, and Baton Rouge Water, Ascension Water ended up buying all those smaller companies out, and now they're the only company here. And they have not acquired the water district in Darrow as of now, as of today, but we need to move on that if we're gonna, that'll give us a start.
Mr. Grant, you have anything? Councilman Lambert, Johnson, Chick Nine? Any old business? Would it be premature to put the Integral on the agenda for the first meeting in November, Mr. Grant? Whoever?
We'd like to look at a proposal first. I mean, I don't want to put something on the agenda that I mean, I'd like to look at it, negotiate it, and see what they got, and then understand it all before we come back and to this board.
The reason I asked because our meeting next week, we can always pull it if we don't, but fine.
Put it on the agenda.
I would rather you not put it on the agenda.
Thank you, sir. Entertain a motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Motion by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Johnson. Adjourn.